going to take out this bathtub here. We're going to take out this shower back here. And then we're going to put in some shelves over there. We're going to put in a shower right here. And we're going to make this glass frosted. And I'm going to show you how to do that because it's a pretty serious trick that you have to have massive skills for. I mean, just like unbelievable skills to be able to do this trick. And when you learn it, you're like, so that was $3 in 10 minutes of my life. But it's really amazing. So we're going to take all this out, which is pretty fantastic. Now, I went to Hollywood, and I got knocked in the head, Brooke, and I saw stars. Not just because I was in Hollywood, but because I got knocked in the head. So a lot of you guys, I think, have problems sleeping. You have insomnia a lot, and I mean, I do too. And so my advice to you, because I've dealt with this for so long, and I think it's very helpful, is don't count sheep, because there's a lot of them. Definitely don't count cockroaches or anything like that. There's just so many. Count endangered species. There's less of them, you'll run out quick, and you have to go to sleep. So I hope that helps. Anyway, I'm going to get back to it. So, a lot of you probably don't know this about me because it's not true, but I've always wanted to be a makeup artist in horror movies. And I think that I could do makeup for my friend Paul Taylor the next time he does a Pinhead movie. Because see all of these spacers? Holy monkey, there's a lot of spacers. Whew. It's exhausting just thinking about it. We went through a thing of 1,000, but then we had to like, oh, this is dry enough, took them back out and reused them over here. So that's there's a lot of spacers in there. All right, so I think that's pretty interesting. As you can tell, this is Turkish marble. I'm sure you can probably tell at a glance that this is Turkish marble. We have different sizes. There's an accent piece in here, the smaller ones up top. Then we got some bigger things around the windowsill and for the bench and for the curb right here, which is cool. You're probably thinking to yourself, why is this board here? That seems out of place. The answer is this. The tile, when you put it on the wall, is heavy, and so it would just sag right out, and it would fall on my head. And then I would have a split open white head and stitches or staples or super glue or something. I don't want that. So instead, you put this in there temporarily with a screw, and then it has a lip to sit on, and then once it dries, we take it off. Other thing you might not know is that grout is 2/3 of the strength on tile. So you lay the tile and we're always kind of like very ginger on it the next day. Once you grout, then it's like, that stuff's rock solid. So helpers, anything that you want to talk about? As usual, my helper with no name shakes her head no, which means that she wants to talk about Sesame Street. And the fact that in the song, it's like, can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? And in all the years I watched it, it was probably, I don't think I watched it more than 36 years straight, but I never saw them actually give directions on how to get to Sesame Street. So if anybody knows, please let me know, because Elma owes me some money. All right, talk to you later. Bye. Oh, good morning. So I forgot to tell you guys that earlier I said we're going to frost this glass, and it was so complex. I had to get spray paint that was frosted glass and then spray it on there. And the interesting thing is that it is so frosted, like all the light comes through, you get all this natural light, but there are a bunch of naked people right on the other side of this glass, and you can't even tell, which is beautiful. All right, so we got the floor in, we got all the spacers out, which is great. We're about to lay this floor. We got the vanity out and the toilet out and all the floor out and everything. But it's been such a long time since I did 8x8 tile, and such a long time since I did just square tile rather than subway pattern or herringbone or something, that I was like, I can show you guys something that you don't maybe already know. So when we lay out a room, then we want to chalk lines. So if you look down at the floor, you can see that we chalk lines, right? And usually you want to come off your longest, straightest wall. Okay, so this is a long, straight wall, and so we measured off of this, and you can tell I laid tiles out, all right, so that they would end up right on this line, especially if I would do things right. All right, and then from there, we chalk a line the whole distance, right? And then we have to have a line this way. Now, you don't want to start on one end. You'd be like, well, wouldn't it be easier to start it there and then work yourself out and not paint yourself in a corner? It would be easier, but the problem is that tile, first of all, it's hard to build square things in the round world. And so pretty much every house you get in, you're like, this one's not square. You're like, really? And they're like, and it's not level. You're like, come on, seriously? So if you think, oh, I'm just going to come up this, what I think to be a square wall, then a lot of times it starts to drift, and then you get If you start in the center and you go towards a quadrant, it might drift towards the edge. Not that big of a deal. If you start on one edge, you get to the other edge, you're like, oh, that's out by like an inch. It's real bad. So we chalk the lines, that way we keep ourselves true and straight and square, and that's important. And we start on one quadrant and work, and then work, and then work, and then work, and then work our way right out the door. And this goes back into this quadrant area too, but you can tell that we've chalked lines. Now, I don't know if today is a special day for you guys, but it is for me. And that's because, Mike, why is that? Because it's my spiritual birthday, that's right. So, 32 years ago, which was July 29th, 1989, I gave my heart to Jesus. And I was like, I am done with this life. I am done with drugs. I'm done with drinking. I'm done with smoking. I'm done with cussing and the party, everything about it. And I have given up because I have failed. Everything that I've done my entire life, like all added up, brings me to this point where I realize I suck. And I failed. And so I was like, I can't anymore, I surrender, and I give my life to you, Jesus. And when I did, this is the day I got baptized 32 years ago, I just want to tell you, I could not be more grateful. Like, I don't deserve what I have, but I could not be more grateful. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We're going to lay this tile, we're going to lay some other tile, we're going to lay some laminate and do some painting, and I will keep you updated. All right, love you guys, bye. Oh, so if you suck at playing the trumpet, that's probably why. Okay, come on in here. I'm sorry. I know some real crust of the earth people. I mean, salt of the earth people. Don't stand on it. All right. So anyway, we did this, and it took about 28 minutes. And as you can tell, there's a pattern to it. So each tile is directional. It matters which way you put it. Otherwise, you're going to end up with stupidity in there somewhere. We don't want stupidity because you're better than that. So let's talk about Lot's wife. A lot of you guys don't know what that story is, but I'm going to go ahead and remind you. So Abraham was the first Jew, okay? And God was like, hey, I want you to leave the land of Ur, and I want you to go, and you're going to, your descendants will inherit the whole, there will be more numerous than the stars of the sky and the sands of the sea. And so he had 2 sons, and anyway, he also had a nephew, and his nephew was Lot. And pretty soon they were both quite wealthy, and they had a lot of people to work for them, and they argued. And so Abraham's like, hey, I don't think we can be together anymore. Not be together, but like, I don't think we can merge our tribe because these guys are arguing. So you pick which side you want, and I'll let you have whichever one you want. And Lot goes, ooh, I want the good side. And so Abraham's like, you can have it. And he takes the less good side. Well, the good side was near Sodom and Gomorrah. And Sodom, in case you did not know, is where the term sodomy came from, because they were so well known for it, well, I think you understand what that is. Anyway, so there came a point where God came to Abraham and he said, hey, I'm going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because it has reached up to heaven, the evil deeds that they have done and are doing, and I cannot let this go on. And Abraham gets all nervous. He's like, but my nephew Lot lives there, and all his people, his family and everything. That's my family. And he goes, would you destroy the city, both the cities, if there was 50 righteous people? And God's like, no, for 50 righteous people, I would spare both those cities. And I think Abraham was like, man, he answered that pretty quick. What about for 40? And would you save both those cities for 40 righteous people? And God's like, I would. And he goes, 30? And he's like, yep. 20? Yep. He goes, 10? Would you save both cities for 10 righteous people? And God's like, absolutely. I would save both those entire cities for 10 righteous people. And I think at that point, Abraham stopped and he was like, maybe I better not ask anymore, because I know for a fact there is 0 righteous people there, kind of like today. And so he's like, will you at least spare my nephew and his family? And God's like, sure. And so his nephew was Lot, and God sent angels in to go see what was going on and also take Lot and his family out of Sodom and Gomorrah. And when they came in to town, they were going to sleep in the town square, and Lot saw him. He was like, no, you don't. It's not safe for you here. Like, they will rape you. And so he took him to his house, and every man in the city came to their door and was beating down the door like, we saw that you got fresh meat in there. We saw that you got 2 new guys. And in the Bible it says, we all want to have sex with them. And he's like, guys, I've got 2 daughters that are virgins. You can have them. Like, not interested. We want those 2 dudes right there. And so the angels blinded all the people
I don't know how. Flash grenade, I assume, and maybe inaccurate. God flash bomb grenade, something. Anyway, they were blinded. And so the angel said, "You've got to go right now. This city is like, missiles are headed this way. God missiles are headed this way, and they are going to destroy the city. So you best go, and I mean right now. And you need to flee over the mountain and don't look back." And they're like, "Ah, can we stay and like say goodbye to everybody first? Can I sell my property and stuff?" He's like, "No, you got to go now, and I mean now. It's in the air. It's going to blow you up." And they're like, "Can we at least, like, I don't know, have dinner first?" And they're like, "You gots to go. You finna die." And that's a paraphrase, but nevertheless. So they're like, "Do we have to run that far?" And they're like, "Look, you run as far as you can to the caves up in the mountains. You don't have to go as far as we said. Do not look back. No matter what you hear, do not look back. No matter what you think about, do not look back." And so they start to flee, and fire rains down from heaven. And I don't know how this happens, but I've been to where Sodom was, and today is the Dead Sea, and nothing lives there to this day. And it's been like 5,000 years or something. Anyway, do not look back. And so fire is raining down from heaven. Sulfur is raining down on Gomorrah. Fire and sulfur is raining down. Nothing lives there to this day, like not a sprig of grass, nothing. It is dead. No bacteria, like literally nothing can live in those cities. It is dead. Anyway, at the time, destruction is happening. And Abraham's like, "Gots to go." And his family's like, "Gots to go." And his wife is like, "I don't know." And she turns into a pillar of salt, right? And to this day, like I've been there, there is a rock formation above the Dead Sea, like at the far end of the Dead Sea, that looks like a woman looking back that has turned into a pillar of salt. And the Dead Sea is 9 times saltier than any ocean in the world, which is pretty interesting. But I think the lesson here is, number A, we are living in a time where what we do every day would make Sodom and Gomorrah blush. I feel pretty confident that the stuff that we do on the daily, right, even the righteous people of us, that Sodom and Gomorrah would be like, "You do that? Ugh, you guys are icky," right? So that's number A. Letter 2 is that when God tells you to leave something and not look back, it's because it has a lure. It will put its hooks in you and it will pull you back into that destruction. So you have to walk away and not look back, no matter what you hear, no matter what you feel, no matter how much you miss it, no matter how much people are making fun of you or peer pressure or anything in the world. You go and you run and you get away from that thing because it will kill you. I hope you guys are having a good day. We're going to listen more time.
I think it's important that everybody knows, if you're under 35 and you don't know what sodomy is, ask your parents.
Don't.
If you're over 35, ask your kids.
Oh, wow. True story. Sodomy is don't do it. All right. So we grout it, and it's beautiful. Look what a difference grout makes. I'm so grateful for this. We also put in the shower door. It slides. It's so elegante, or however you say that in English, I don't know. Elegant, maybe? We grouted the floor. It's a cool pattern. Now we're still waiting on the vanity to come in. So when it does, we'll be so excited. We got the toilet in. That's amazing. So I was doing a show for George W. Bush. No, I did several for him, but I was doing one for one of his cabinet, I forget who. And his press secretary, maybe? Something like that. It was a long time ago. And she said that Barbara Walters was interviewing W and said, "If you were a tree, what kind of a tree would you be?" And he said, "But I'm not a tree, Barbara. I'm a bush." And so then I got to thinking, like, first of all, it's hilarious. It's a great answer, especially for president. Like, if I was a piece of furniture, what kind of a piece of furniture would I be? What do you think, Helper? Shrugs her shoulders. The answer is an entertainment center. So, anyway, we got this done. We're still going to wait on the vanity. I want to ask you guys a really serious question. How much of your life have you wasted? Like, how much time, have you added it up? How much time in your life have you wasted not hugging people that you love? Now, I wanted to make a list of all the people that I love, just so you know, like, am I on the list or not? Here we go. Ready? All my family. I love you. I want to give you hugs. All my friends. I love you. I want to give you hugs. All my enemies. I love you. I want to give you hugs. Even though you've been mean to me or whatever, you probably challenged me and made me a better person. So thank you for that, and come get your hug anytime. All my exes. I know it seems very weird to say that because everybody hates their exes, but I'm like, didn't we love each other at one time? Like, why do we have to hate each other now? If you want to hug, come get me. And basically, everybody. So don't waste any more of your life not hugging people. It's an important thing. All right, we're going to do another job tomorrow. We're going to come back to this one next week. Hello there. I'm so glad you're here. We had a busy day, lots of touch-ups. The last day of a job is always filled with touch-ups, and we're always like, oh, we'll get it done in like 3 hours. That's a lie of the devil. When you believe that, you're stupid. And I'm looking in the mirror saying to myself, you're stupid, which I am. All right, so last week, come on in here, Mike. Last week, or whenever it was, we put in all this shower. Remember, this was a bathtub, and then over here was a shower, and then we put in this closet and the door and all the shelves and everything, and then we widened this door for handicap accessibility, and then laid all this tile, but we didn't have the vanity in. And so now we put in this beautiful vanity and these mirrors and these lights. We're a couple bulbs short, but let's be honest, I'm a couple bulbs short. Okay. Also, we did all this flooring out here everywhere and built a shed yesterday and added on a room and did a bunch of lights and electrical and things like that. So I was talking to a friend of mine at church last week, and he goes, you know, you just give everybody all your secrets. Like, aren't you worried that people are going to steal your secrets? I'm like, nah, man. Let me tell you why. Number 8, I'm tired. I can't do everybody's work. There's 7 billion people in the world. I'm not going to do everything. I hope you learned something. I hope it makes your life easier, because nobody ever told me, and so everything I did was like just a real struggle. And so I'm like, can I make your life easier? Let me help pave the way and smooth out some of the bumps for you. Secondly, there is enough food at the table for all of us. If you want to work, there is work literally everywhere, and it won't affect me at all. I will still have more work than I know what to do. I will have died, and 4 months will have passed. I'll be like, I'm still working. Oh, I'm dead. I need to stop working now, right? There is so much work. And for all of you that are like, oh, I can't find a job anywhere, I'm like, you can't find a job because you want a job that pays $1 million to sit on the couch and watch TV. I'm sorry, it's not what you want to hear, but there is work literally everywhere. Everywhere I look, people are hiring. They're paying tons of money an hour to start. They're signing bonuses, everything. Like, nobody's working. There's shortages on everything because there's a certain something, I forget what it's called. I think I might have it. That has made everybody lazy, and the government's just, you know, you're sucking off the government's tit. I'm like, that's a mistake. Because once you start taking government money, that is a valid poverty. And by that, what I mean is, you can't stop taking their money until you stop making money. At which point you're like, I have to stay poor so I can keep getting their money. Or just work and be rich, like the rest of us. Because that's all you gotta do. Anyway, we are finally done with this job. We're gonna start a big bathroom remodel on Monday. I'm very excited about that. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And I've got a friend who's like, you know what? I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God. I'm like, well, a couple things. Number 8, God doesn't believe in atheists. And letter 2, you may not believe in God, but he believes in you. See you guys on Monday.